But first this evening, is this the first sign that Labor, state and federally, knows its renewables-only fantasy is exactly that, a fantasy? There are reports today that Labor is considering developing an East Coast gas reserve. Now, this was, of course, a key policy of the coalition at the election to force gas producers to keep more gas onshore for domestic use, which Labor, at the time, called a joke. Well, it's hardly a joke when the Australian Energy Market Regulator has long been warning that the East Coast could run out of gas by 2026. And at the moment, we export about 80% of what we produce here. According to the Australian Financial Review, energy industry sources, speaking on the condition of anonymity, said the sector was preparing for the federal government to begin investing the viability of a reservation. A spokesman for Resources Minister Madeleine King said the government review would include the role of market bodies to ensure more gas is made available for Australians. But Labor was providing no clarity on those reports today.
We're working those through carefully as a cabinet-style government, not telegraphing our approach, ruling things in, ruling things out. I won't be doing that, but we'll do it in a sober and sensible way in the national interest, not sort of hyperventilating for 3 years like our opponents did.
Well, Labor's clearly had a stunning change of attitude following, of course, the approval of Woodside's Northwest Shelf extension this week in WA. And the coalition rightly wants answers.
What I haven't seen in today's reports were the other additional components of our policies to defund the activists and to actually have a process in place to speed up approvals of projects, making sure state and federal governments work together cohesively, because we do need more gas.
And she's not wrong. We also need to bring down prices and shore up supplies. And Labor's obsession with renewables is plunging us into this gas oblivion. The more we rely on renewables, the more we need gas generation to firm up supplies. And governments have created this mess. Reckless policies have been put in place to force coal generation out of the market in favour of wind and solar. With gas so expensive, and as we've been warned, there's not enough, we could really do with some more coal, you know, that big bad fuel being driven out of the Australian market before Labor's renewables fantasy is even ready to go. Even 12 months ago, Labor was warned that generation from large-scale renewables has exacerbated the gas supply crisis due to the extreme lows in renewable generation, particularly wind yields, meaning gas-powered generation has picked up a significantly larger load just to keep the lights on. And right now, with winter upon us and gas shortages, wouldn't it be good to have some of that very power source coal that we're just trying to desperately drive out of the market? Now, the coalition announced a gas reservation scheme that would require LNG producers to set aside more supply for domestic use during the election, an excellent policy which would have had an immediate impact. Yet Labor laughed at the very suggestion.
Does it open up a discussion for bigger reform, such as raising the GST, indexing tax brackets, or even the coalition's gas reserve policy on the East Coast?
Well, I think firstly the coalition's policy was a joke. We took to the Australian people a set of propositions. That's what we will seek to carry out. We're not about to change things because of the number of Labor MPs that were elected.
Well, how things have changed, because if these reports are correct, it's a surefire sign Labor has realised its risky renewables-only experiment is a disaster. Not that the Teals seem to understand the crisis. Zali Steggall this morning on Sky News was panicked about the very prospect of more gas.
Gas is an accelerant to our warming situation. So when we look at mid-coast, north coast New South Wales, farmers facing drought, we have to be very mindful that if we increase the use of gas in the system, we accelerate warming.
You can't have it both ways.
New projects. Oh, because you have no credibility, Bridget. You are such a joke. I mean, seriously, I'm talking about regional communities facing drought.
Sticks and stones, Sally.
Regional communities facing floods, and all you want to do is keep accelerating and increasing the problem.
Okay. I mean, seriously, if it was up to the Teals, we may as well all get hypothermia in winter. Meanwhile, there's more madness out of Victoria. The Allen government is one step closer to approving Viva Energy's plans to build a liquefied natural gas import terminal in Geelong. Go figure. Australia is one of the world's largest gas exporters, and Victoria has massive onshore gas reserves, yet the state is a step closer to building an LNG import terminal. To even consider importing gas into Victoria is another example of policy failure. Labor governments across the country are in complete denial about the energy crisis facing this country. We're going broken backwards under the renewables fantasy, at the same time paying higher prices for gas while our supplies are exported. So if Labor is indeed developing an East Coast gas reservation, well, perhaps it's a step in the right direction. But right now, it's another cold winter ahead. The gas is churning, but the wind farms aren't turning.